Nice to see you all. Some familiar faces. Nice to see you again. Some new faces, some new names also in black rectangles here on my Zoom call. I am Rafa Ribeiro. I'm currently in Lisbon, but I'm a Brazilian, and I'm really, really passionate about the topics that we are going to discuss, and also the journey that we have been through in this close to 4 years teaching these classes. What about you, Mr. David Lowe?
4 years I've had to put up with you, Rafa. 4 years. This is what people are here for. They're here for my support, for my sanity. I'm in Oxford in the UK. I've been loving these 4 years that I've been training with AWA. Coaching is the love of my life. Don't tell my dogs, my kids, or my wife that I've just said that. But yeah, and we've picked up so much from these courses, right?
Definitely. Definitely. When we look at just the numbers alone, it was over 130 classes ran, and many, if not most of them, online. So during and post COVID, over 1,800 people taught. We've met amazing individuals from all over the world. Back when we were doing things in person, people would usually travel to meet us. One of the good things about the whole pandemic and lockdown is that more people from more different places in the world were able to connect with us. So that made really, really awesome to know all of them.
And all of our favorite people that came on the course, they're all here. I've checked.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm talking about you. I'm talking about you. Yeah, you know who you are. Our favorite.
Yeah. Again, do not tell the others that we just said that.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Charlie will cut this out of the recording and just keep for the people who are here.
Oh no, because the favorite person's watching as well. I know that.
And we are currently running our second edition of the advanced ATC cohort, which by itself have been another crazy, intense, and super rewarding journey. Talking about what brings us here, this is just a moment of sharing our experience and what we even heard as reflections and insights from the participants throughout the courses. Okay, maybe you will identify with some of the things that we just will be sharing, maybe not. Again, we are not stating what reality is and what the absolute reality is, but just what we experienced throughout our classes, okay? We will be curious to know at the end, what is your opinion about it? In any given moment, if you want to interject, if you want to raise your hand, if you want to ask something, you can either do it on the Zoom chat. Zoom also has this feature for you to raise your hand digitally if you had your video off. Since we are a lot of people, we will try to keep track of all the cameras on if you raise your hand or something, but don't be shy. Just step up and place either your doubt, your question, or your comment about what we are saying, okay? So going in straight into blocker number 1. This is not an order of importance or priority. It's just the first one on the slide deck, okay? So do not be worried. This is not a backlog. It's not an ordered list of items. Block number 1 was touching again on the theme of the webinar, the ego. And when we say about ego, we are not calling either ourselves or the people who attended the courses egocentric or egoistic. No, we are talking about the definition of the ego or the self-ego, or what we think we are. The idea of this persona that we have and that we refer sometimes and in a way also influence or guides the way we interact with the world and the people around us. And this is what we are talking about. And what we have noticed that not only stressed a lot of people, but also put a huge pressure on themselves was this perception that they should be the ones doing the problem solving. So people coming to our courses, trying to figure out ways to solve problems better themselves. And this was just the behavior being shown. When we got a little bit deeper, so we peeled a little bit of the layers of the onion, what really came out were needs or intentions to, because being afraid of failure, the person needed to solve the problem, or because they wanted to prove their value or feel useful or needed, or do things perfectly, or just being in control, or avoiding pain. This internal need manifested itself in the will or the intention to be the problem solver, to avoid some of the things that we are listing here. Maybe you don't identify with this. Maybe there is another reason why you may want to be the problem solver. We are not saying that they are good or bad. We are just saying that behind the intention or the need to solve the problem, there was another need, a more primitive and more intense need. And the thing is, trying to be the problem solver actually hinders the capacity of the team to solve its own problems. So one way to spot this blocker is, do I hope to become a better problem solver myself rather than creating a safe space for others to identify and solve their own problems? So this is a question that I, Rafa, can also do myself from time to time. So this is about blocker number 1. We're going to go for block number 2. Now let's see what awaits us. And while Mr. David Lowe is preparing the slideshow, I can just stall for a moment and just say, do a little dance.
Do a little dance. Now, I am going to have to get you to share, Rafa, because, as you know, I've got a lovely new laptop, and I've just gone to share, and it's not allowing me to share.
No worries.
I need to do some work, so you're going to have to do that for me. I apologise. But you always do a better job, Rafa, of sharing, so I know you can do this. Thank you. So blocker number 2. Well, this is drumroll, imposter syndrome or imposter phenomenon. So it's been reported, and we all know that stats are mostly made up, but it's been reported that up to 70% of people will at some point experience imposter syndrome, and it's very common for Scrum Masters, and I think especially Agile coaches to feel this too. Actually came from a 1978 psychological journal paper, and it was originally called Imposter Phenomenon. There is a debate going on in psychological coaching circles about whether it's a syndrome or not, but hey, imposter syndrome seems to have taken more effect. But yeah, Pauline Clance, Suzanne Imes originally came up with the imposter phenomenon, and they described it as this intense feeling of intellectual and professional fraudulence, often experienced by high-achieving women in particular. It's the quote that comes from them. Although there's been quite a lot of research since that shows that it is not gender-specific. And so I can fairly say that it is also happening with men as well. Now, there was a brilliant thesis written by somebody called Andrea Kilpatrick, published in 2021, and I'm happy to share the link. I've got her approval that she's happy to share it through the Oxford Brookes radar site, so you can have a good read of 60,000 words of imposter phenomenon that she talks about. It's not just about that, but she explains that, or describes this, I think, nicely, in that it's this internal or secret belief that people hold regardless of their achievement, regardless of how much positive feedback they've had, regardless of what others say to them about it. They are unable to accept their success. And I believe we have a slide, Rafa, because I can't actually see where you're sharing, that shows these characteristics. We have 3 characteristics, thank you. And so this sense that we've fooled others into overestimating our ability. So, you know, they seem to think that we actually have more ability than we feel that we have ourselves. That even when success happens, it's happened for some other reason. So I just got lucky, for example, right? Or, oh, well, it just happened to be that I was in the right place at the right time, rather than the fact of, hey, I'm really good at what I'm doing here. And then there is this other characteristic that is this fear that I'm going to be found out. They're going to discover that actually I'm not as good as people think I am. And this suffering of this fear of being found out is a common theme. Something that someone said to me, I'm going off piece here, Rafa's going to start worrying now. This wasn't what David was going to talk about. Someone gave me some wise words in the past. It wasn't you, Rafa, before you tried to take claim, that when you're trying to teach someone, whether it's in a facilitating, you're doing a workshop, for example, on how to create user stories or whatever it is, you only need to know more than the people in the room. You don't need to know everything, right? It is impossible for us to know everything. And there's a lovely phrase that comes from one of the original authors on it, which we've got here, which is about how that imposter feels. Right? And it's that like wearing this mask, and that what we feel inside is different from what everybody else is seeing. So I think that that's a nice summary of blocker 2, that feeling that everything we create, all of our successes, we just can't celebrate them, we can't accept them, let alone celebrate them, because we attribute it to some other reason, to some other factor that's happened. Luck being quite a common one. Okay, on to blocker 3. I know we're already on blocker 3. Should have done like the charts, Rafa. Blocker 3 is one very dear to my heart, and those of you who know me, I never really plug my books when I've got a captive audience, as you all know. But I have just happened to write a book recently about reflections. And so this third one here is about, well, it's about reflecting on your practice. So how much do you actually practice after the course? We know that some people go off, they love the practice in the course. For those of you who have been on our coaching course, the feedback each day is, I really enjoyed that coaching practice. That was, I really enjoyed that bit. I'm going to do it loads more. Do you? Do you actually do it afterwards? I'm hoping that you do. But those that do you get into a habit of doing it regularly? And hopefully you do. But then do you reflect on your practice? Remember when we were in the courses, for those who've been with us, for the coaching course, we do it in triads. And so you get that feedback from the observer who's not in that coaching session, right? You can also then reflect on your own practice, which is what my book's about. And so this has a problem when we are not focusing on our process and what we're doing and where we're doing, in that, well, we've got a number of things, actually, which I think cover all of these 3 blockers, right? How it affects the team.
Definitely.
Just making sure I'm not going ahead, because I know we're going to ask people something, aren't we? Am I allowed to?
No,
I'm allowed to do this bit, am I?
Well, you have the slides if you want to guide yourself.
Thank you. Yes, well, and so this is the question. How much do you reflect? How much do you do? How much do you invest in yourself? So I think this is a very high figure, right? This was the most recent Agile Coaching report. 47% of Agile coaches spend 3 or more days on CPD, on continuous personal development. It digs down into a little bit more on the next one, doesn't it? I think 15% only do the master level, the expert level at IC Agile. Go on, next one. This is the interesting one. So I saw that there was someone from Pune here. Well, you seem to be above average in India. Francesca will be happy about the second one, I'm sure. I'm not so happy about the UK being right at the bottom of that list, though. So there's a question for yourself. How much time do you actually spend in your personal development. So yes, so how to spot this one? Well, this is you actually being completely honest. How much are you investing in yourself? Of course, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to go on a course. This is, of course, the courses are great with AWA. This can also be about investing in yourself with practice, grabbing someone at lunch to do a coaching practice, for example. And if you are doing it, how effective and efficient is it? So doing the practice is great, but reflecting on that practice, making some notes in my book or another notepad is another way of actually making it effective and efficient.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what I can hear people screaming out, Rafa, well, this is all very good. You're telling us the blockers. What the heck are we meant to do about it?
Yes, exactly. Just on that last blocker, we all know, or we should be able to tell the difference between output and outcome. And we have seen in the past people dedicating hours and hours for their own improvement, but they weren't getting the outcomes. And this may mean that the process that they are using for their personal development is not effective or not efficient. So keep an eye on that. So we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. So a new poll will be open on Slido. Same link, same place. You don't need to change anything if you're already in it. What is your biggest blocker? From those three, what do you identify the most?
I'm getting involved as well, Rafa. I'm putting mine in.
I'm going to put mine also.
Once people have voted as well. Quite happy to
Yes, yes. I love to see in real time the bars moving. It feels like I'm watching a race. Okay, 31 people have voted, 34. We have 64 people in the call, almost there, 45.
Oh, Rafa, we're neck and neck because I know what neck. Oh my! I know what he put, and I know what I put, obviously. And I've taken the lead. David has taken the lead. He's taken the lead. People are more like David than they are like Rafa. We did have a wonder of whether, it could be that everyone said no, we don't recognise any of these, but clearly most people are.
Mm-hmm. Right, 52 people have voted.
53.
53.
57.
Let's stretch. Oh, 57. Yes, let's stretch. All right.
Still winning.
Well, I believe we are safe to say that we have a winner. So, Mr. David Lowe, do you want to kick off with your own personal sharing, and then I go with mine?
My biggest one of these three is the imposter syndrome. It's all phenomenon. Yeah, that feeling that someone's going to find me out. Don't tell anyone.
Don't worry, your secret is safe with us and the recording, which will be published on YouTube for everyone to see, David. So don't worry.
Yeah, I accept that, but this is the thing,
Yes, definitely. Working on our awareness of that, giving that first step, that first brave step, which is let me look at the things that I'm not so happy about myself. It is the first step to either overcoming them or understanding and learning how to live with it. So making life more pleasurable. And my biggest blocker is that need of being the problem solver. And that need comes from me looking for external validation, having that constantly addiction of, I want to know what other people feel or think about me and my work. And if I got sidetracked to that and become blind to that need, then I may take over stuff from other people because I want to make sure that things go in a successful way. It doesn't matter the cost. It doesn't matter what other people may think or feel. I just want to control as much as possible the outcome. And it's quite contradictory to talk about control and being an agile coach. This is like one of our biggest fights oh, we need to abolish control, we need to promote autonomy. But here goes the Agile coach himself trying to control things to look good in the eyes of others. So I accepted that. And because I accepted that, I can be more self-aware when this part of me kicks in and tries to take over, and then take a deep breath and do something else about it. So why does this matter? Why we are talking about this? Well, in a kind of a homage to Patrick Lencioni, who has built that, we think, really valuable 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. It's an amazing book, really fun to read. We made the 5 Dysfunctions of the Agile Coach. And at the base of this pyramid, there lies a huge burden, pressure, and stress on the Agile coach itself. Just being or trying to be the problem solver and solving everything and everyone's problems and the whole company problem, that's a huge load to take, a lot of weight on everyone's shoulder. Secondly, we thought about this dynamic of the Agile coach being the highest source of solution creates a high dependency on the Agile coach itself, fueling again the pressure and the burden. And by creating this centralized point of problem solving, we are actually reducing the amount of collaboration that the team can experience and can live by. This, of course, will miss out on opportunities. And I love the way you describe this, Mr. David Lowe, so feel free to jump in.
Oh, I think you were going to carry on talking and then I was going to jump in. Yeah, I mean, this goes with the imposter syndrome. So, and the others, but obviously I'm thinking of it from my most common position. Well, if I'm going to get found out, so why not just not do it? So let's not do the thing. No one can then find out, right? And then, of course, what happens is, well, we don't take up the opportunities, right? So we miss out on those things that we might do. We might have that. In fact, my first time that I was doing some teaching, I declined it to start with because I just thought, well, I don't know enough. I can't do that teaching regarding the topic. And then eventually, a year or two later, I had the chance again, and I took it. But I could easily again have just taken the easy route and said no. And then without doing this, right? I don't know. I can't actually remember the next ones of these. Is it I'm going to shut up. I'm going to shut up. Yes, because that's where I was about to go. I was about to say, if we don't do these things and we don't try, then we can't learn from it, right? So it's us as the coach, but also that no one else is going to learn from it as well. The team isn't going to learn from it either. So it's us and our team who have that reduced learning.
Exactly. And I love this because I am most of the times, or I have spent a lot of time seeking for external validation. I was also afraid to fail. And once I realized that when you set learning as the goal, failure is impossible. It is only when we set success as the goal that you may fail. But when you set learning as the goal, to grow yourself as the goal, then failure is impossible. Anything that happens can serve as learning. But if we don't do nothing, then we only learn that we didn't do, or we get regret that we didn't do.
So this goes into my, again, I'm sure I've mentioned to a few of you that my doctorate that I'm doing in humor in coaching. And one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself on stage to do some stand-up to see what it's like to die on stage. And so success is just to do it. It actually is not to succeed. If people like it, then that's a bonus, right? But learning is, again, what is success is not actually everybody going, you're the greatest. And of course, if you're a massive imposter syndrome sufferer, then it doesn't matter what people say anyway, because you discount it as, well, they're just being kind.
Definitely. And then, of course, at the top, by blocking ourselves and hindering the actual possibilities and capabilities that that the team can experience, the collaboration they can experience, the learning they can make, even by failing sometimes, at the end, the results are suboptimal. Because one person or a limited set of people thinking about a problem won't get such a good solution as if the whole group of people thought about the problem. Of course, it's not just putting a group of people together and then figuring out stuff. This is why we go into to learn about facilitation, because we want to learn how to create the space to actually allow that group to make the most of their collective intelligence. But if we, the Agile coaches, are blocking ourselves and blocking this opportunity, then the results won't be as good as they could. So again, we want to know from you. The next Slido is an open one, because we want to know if you are doing anything to overcome these blockers. And if you are, what are you doing? What is your personal tip to technique, process, journey that you're going through or want to go through to actually work out these blockers?
Rafa, you look like you're talking, but you're on mute.
Sorry, I muted myself. I was mentioning that after people vote, maybe we can also share a bit of the things that we are doing ourselves to work on our blockers. "31 people have voted." Take your time also to look at other people's answer. Ooh, I like this one. Mental training. Love that.
Are you seeing that? It's not showing up on mine.
After I added my answer, I was able to see.
I can also see. I can't see that.
We have things like breathing, therapy, self-reflection, reflection, just going for it, just do it. We are not sponsored by any sports brand, sorry. Practicing, getting feedback, having a pause, reflection again and again, therapy/coaching, surfing. Oh, where did that come from? I wonder. All right. Well, thank you for sharing, everyone. You can keep sharing if you would like to. As we mentioned, what am I doing to solve these blockers? Well, talking about it, has been so rewarding and beneficial. As a professional coach, it is recommended that we also look for our own coaching, and I did that for some time. Then after a while, I thought like, okay, maybe these things may come way back. So I also look into therapy, which was and is so rewarding to uncover things from our past and deal with it. But sometimes coaching is already a tremendous tool, being coached, because it allows you to stop and think about it. And surfing for me is another feedback system. Like, there is no more immediate feedback than going to surf. Because if you lose track of yourself for a split second, you wipe out. So you know you did something wrong. You know you got hindered by a blocker. So I used to tell this. When I'm surfing, if I start wondering about what other people in the water feel or think about my surfing, I literally lose the sense of my feet. I lose my sense of my feet. And you can imagine what is a surfer without feeling their feet, without feeling their board and the water. I just wipe out. So this is what I've been working on currently. I have also my second daughter, and being a father for the second time also teaches a lot about ourselves. So I'm not saying that you should go and have kids, but it's definitely a self-development opportunity if you have them, okay? Just look at how they behave and what your behaviors that are reflected on them, things that they do, and then you think about it and say, well, but that's me. This is clearly from me that child is getting. What about you, David Lowe?
Well, I was just about to say, if anyone wants an even-sided argument about the pros and cons of having children, feel free. I'll put the other side forwards if anyone wants to contact me directly. I'm only joking. I officially do love my children. So my ways of dealing with, well, learning's an interesting one, because for someone with imposter syndrome, learning also highlights the fact of what you don't know. Of course, it's better to know what you don't know than to just feel that you don't know stuff. And the three things I think that have helped me the most is, one, going to meetups, being with other people and hearing that they are having similar feelings and issues and challenges is really useful. And AWA does lots of amazing meetups. And meditation is another one. Not necessarily dealing with that, but actually just getting things into perspective on all of those other things. And of course, I think you will know the third one I'm going to raise. Can anyone guess what it is? Oh yeah, journaling. So writing down actually what's going through your head after coaching sessions and after teaching and after facilitation and anything else you're doing is also an amazing way of contemplating what's going on for you.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry about writing those down, because we're going to present a summary towards the end. So our recommended approach, and then also what we teach. So we try to leave. I don't know if you have this phrase in English, but you have a wooden stick in a blacksmith home. When you say things, but you don't actually do things. So we try to walk the talk. So self-development, this awareness on your beliefs, which will then create the possibility to change them, and in consequence, changing the behaviors. Sheer practicing stuff, especially the ones that you don't feel confident about it, but with objective feedback. If you're just practicing for practicing, it's pretty much like learning how to surf. You can surf on your own for years and years and do things wrong. Sometimes it only takes one class with a proper instructor to tell you you're placing your feet wrong. And this will change your surfing entirely. And the same goes for teaching, training, mentoring, coaching, facilitation, anything. Journaling, as David mentioned, that's personal inquiry, the networking, so kindred spirits, peers, meetups. If you identify a lot with blocker number one, especially with the fear of failure, showing your weaknesses to other people is dreadful. It's like the last thing you want to do. But by not showing this vulnerability, you don't connect with other people that feel like that. And we kind of like all feel the same way, but we never talk about this. So we think no one feels the same. And of course, your continuous learning. There is no end to what you could learn about one of the competencies of the Agile Coaching Competency Framework. Don't even mention all of them. And why do we think that working with us to grow your Agile coaching capability would be a good fit. Well, we can only talk about our passion. We love this topic. We love to explore and to challenge ourselves into this journey and this unknown process of uncovering what is hindering us to create an even better space to other people to develop themselves. We have thousands of hours collective on either the coaching and the Agile transformation experience. Because our faculty has professional coaching as a base, our training has this professional coaching mentality. So we invite people to think about themselves, to do that personal inquiry. We challenge on their behaviors. We are by itself committed to continuous improvement. So we try to create this space also for our students. We also like to give dedicated time to each and everyone who attend. At the beginning of the pandemic, when we were planning to migrate our classes to online, we decided that we needed to have 2 facilitators at least, because there's so much happening on the online that we cannot actually see because we are not in the same room, that only one of us wouldn't be enough to actually have that personal and transformative experience that we were used to be on the classroom. And because we want to actually give something valuable to people when they get to the end, either on our courses, on the expert cohort, there's a dedication on the personal feedback. Sometimes we do general and generic feedback because we don't want to single out individuals. But at the end of the course, people receive a message from us directly saying, okay, this is what we observed. This is what you're doing well. This is your learning opportunity. And then we challenge them, okay, what you're going to do to improve on that. So if you're looking to dramatically improve your coaching or facilitation skills or training and mentoring, come with us. We're more than happy to have you again in our courses, in our meetups. They're free. So if you don't want to invest, if you're not able to invest, we understand that pandemic hit it hard for many people. Maybe it's not the time for you to do an investment, but we provide a lot of free moments for you to join us. Reach us out on LinkedIn, email, any way you can, okay? As we said, we know these blockers not only from the experience of our courses, but definitely from our own personal experience. So I'm more than happy to talk about that need of external validation or being a problem solver. David, for sure, if you have any questions about either imposter syndrome or improving your reflection, reach him out. What else, Mr. David Lowe?
Well, we've got a bit of time for asking other people. I know it's a webinar, but some people may have questions. So I'm going to suggest that we open it up. If people would like to either question something or make a statement about something, maybe they've got strong thoughts on this stuff.
Okay.
We could do Slido if we want, because then I suppose it's anonymous. But if anyone wants to be brave, or you could put it in the chat. Some brave people on here. I can see you.
Mm-hmm. Or just raise your hand and start talking. Any questions that you may have about anything that we have shared.
Well, I've put it open as a Slido now, so I think it's anonymous. I apologize if it's not, but I think it's anonymous. So I think you can just type something in there now as well.
Okay, cool. Juliana, you raise your hand. Thank you. So tell us.
Yeah, I just wanted to add a thing on the imposter syndrome. I think it gets worse when someone else is criticizing Like, why on earth do we need coaching? I'm not able to discover or explore things on my own. And at that moment, I think the imposter became more strong, and it's hard to recalibrate.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you first for stepping up and sharing your perspective and your vulnerability. I don't know, Mr. David Lowe, do you want to take that on? I may add something afterwards.
Sorry, you're going to have to go because I was trying to get Slido to work. Sorry, so
okay,
I'm going to admit that I was not paying sufficient attention. Edit that bit out, Charlie, please, before you put the video up.
No worries. That's the good thing about having two people at least on the call, is that one can work out the tech and the other can be in connection with the participants. So I'm going to tell about my perspective alone on this. Seeking a lot of external validation, any external feedback had a huge impact on me if it was negative. The positive ones didn't had much impact because it felt like a drug. It would wear off really easily, and then I would move on to the next challenge, hoping that the next positive feedback would ease and end with my inner struggle. As you can imagine, that never happened. So that was one thing, realizing that my external validation was so much greater than my internal validation, what I felt about myself. The other thing also is learning that everyone has their own path. Everyone has their own path. And sometimes the clients that we may encounter may need more time to actually start working out and figuring out stuff in their life. And we meet them and it's still not their time yet. So it's not our fault. It's just their path, their journey, and we cannot control their own journey. Thank you for the share, Juliana. John, nice to see you again.
Likewise, good to see you. Good to hear that you're still surfing.
Thank you.
I think my question is sort of touching on what you were touching on at the end there, because I have just started now coaching one-on-one in my team. I got a responsibility as a Agile coach in a new team just a few weeks ago. And some of the team members, they're really easy to talk to. They're easy to get to talk, and you can ask them the questions that you provided us with. and I mean, half an hour just disappears. But you have some team members who actually, they're not that keen on being there. They don't want, well, it's not that they don't want to, but they give a strong feeling that they don't see the point. Why am I here? You're wasting my time. And actually, I'm starting to think that they're right. I am wasting both their and my time. But then again, you don't want to give up. You want to sort of manage in a way to try to get them to talk, to try to get them to, because I have a, well, I think that there might be something there for them too, if we just get to the right space, but it's difficult. Have you got any tips or tricks in a situation like that?
Well, the first thing that came to my mind, I don't know if David, are you good with tech? Are you here? I love that joke, and you love to tell jokes. You have 2 kids, so you can tell double the amount of that jokes. That joke about the light bulb. I love that joke about the light bulb. Would you like to share with everyone?
I reckon with 60 people, someone's going to know the answer. And someone heard it on the course before. So how many coaches does it take to change a light bulb? Come on, I know you know the answer. Someone, I've told this so many times. How many coaches does it take to change a light bulb? The answer is 1. Thank you, M. 1, but the light bulb has to want to change.
Okay, thanks.
So yeah, we can't force people to change, right? We can only change ourselves, right? And so yeah, and I think this comes back partly to what is the goal? And this comes back to something we talk about a lot in the course in terms of, what's the goal? Is the goal to be agile, or is it to do agile? And it's not either of those. People don't come to us for this. They come because they want to increase subscribers, or they want to reduce fallout at the shopping basket stage, or they want something else. But agile is going to be a way that maybe they can do this, or a belief, a mindset that they can do it. So why are they in coaching? And if they've been told to go there because they're going to get fired otherwise, then that's not really what we're offering here.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm offering here. If that's your role, then that's a different thing from what I'm doing and what I'm teaching people.
Yeah. It also made me remember about a similar situation, maybe, which was I got to a team. I offered coaching. Only 2 people in the team accepted. I dedicated myself to those 2 people. They improved their results. And then when the other members saw their results, they came to me and asked for coaching. So it was, again, this pooling system. People who want to be there will be there. People who don't want, if they're there, they're not going to be there 100%. So go in the path, and this was told to me by Lisa Atkins at my expert reviewing panel. She said, go to the path of least resistance, and the other, if they want, they will follow. So pick your battles strategically and smartly, okay?
Thank you. That's good advice.
Rafa, we've got 3 questions on the Slido, and they're anonymous. So
all right.
No idea who asked them. The first one is, how do I buy David's books? Oh, they're all available on Amazon, of course. I've got no idea who wrote that, but thank you for me writing my own question. The second 2, one's more than a statement, I think. The next one is, isn't it the case that the type of work we do attracts people who want to help others, and these people do not feel they're experts in any particular area? I don't know. As an imposter, of course, I'm not an expert in anything, and you're all going to find that out any day. No, I think there is an element of that, right? As coaches or agile coaches, but often I think that we're probably hired as agile coaches. We're probably hired because of the experience and expertise we have. I know a lot of people hire me not for pure coaching, if you like, non-directive coaching. They hire me because I've got a lot of experience in an agile world with various things. And so they do hire me thinking I'm the expert. And so I've got to be very clear that I'm not here to give you the answers, but I'm here to share my experience. So that's my view on that. But I don't know if the author of that would like to add anything. Maybe I've missed the point, or if Rafa wants to add anything, or anyone else.
Well, if the author does not speak up, I may add that it relates a little bit of blocker number 1 in my perspective, okay, about wanting to be the problem solver / the expert. We may have experience, but that doesn't mean that is the relationship we create with our clients. We can, and we discussed this more deeply on the course, we contract the relationship differently. And right from the beginning, we align the expectations. Okay, I have the experience, but I'm not going to be the one deciding things for you, because that's not my role. If you're expecting that, then it's probably not agile coaching you are looking for. You're either looking for agile advising or agile consulting. But if we look at things as the Agile Coaching Competency Framework, the stance and the work being done on even ethics of coaching and mentoring, we are not providing answers. We are helping the client figure stuff out themselves. We may share our experience, but still, it's their problem and their solution to own. Okay, we have a hand raised.
I've got one other that was on the Slido before. So I'm gonna go to the Slido before, I'm afraid. What coaching questions would you ask a client who is struggling with imposter syndrome? So I would put, I'm going to group this, and I'd say this is about limiting beliefs. This is about what is going on, in my view, I think, or what people have asked me and helped me through, my coach has helped me through with is, what is the belief here? What is the thing that's holding you back? What is it that's limiting you on this? So questions, thinking of Nancy Klein, for example, from Time to Think, questions along the lines of, well, imagine that wasn't true, whatever it is that I'm saying. I don't know enough to take that course. Imagine that it isn't true. What might happen then? And getting you to think those things through. So I'm going to categorize that, as we've only got 5 minutes left, as stuff around limiting belief. Hopefully then that gives Vinit time to ask the question. So
last slot for Vinit. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Hopefully it wasn't that off.
You got it right. It's Vinit. So thank you. Just made it. So the last thing that you mentioned about the agile coaching hats or stances, and I've interacted with some people who have been working on the Scrum Alliance coaching competencies, Scrum.org agile coaching competencies, even IC agile coaching competencies. There is certainly an addition of advisory role, which they are now started to sell. Right. There is certainly, well, we know professional coaching is absolutely not advising, but there is like push from the industry that at least advise. If you're not consulting, at least advise us what to do. So what is your take on that? We are totally diluting the whole concept of coaching here by even advising. That's what my opinion is. But I'd like to hear from you, gentlemen.
All right. All right. So to keep it short, what we do at AWA is we don't advise, because at least from the definition of the word advice that we take on, advice may be something like, if I were you, I would do this, or this would be the recommended approach. And we live in a world where we cannot predict things. So because the nature of life and our work in complex adaptive system is unpredictable. So there is no one advice that may be the best one. So we prefer to engage with our clients into this collaborative process, and hopefully the client coming up with their decision. Okay. We may share our experience, but our experience is past. It is not future. We are not future tellers. So that would be our take, to not enter a philosophical debate, because we still want to share something with you, okay?
I've got two exceptions, though. One, I advise everyone to come on our courses, and two, I advise everyone to buy my books. Sorry, Vinny. I'm with Rafa in the answer, in truth. I just couldn't resist the last cheeky plug.
All right, all right. So before David plugs his stuff again, to wrap up, this is what we love to hear in our courses. More than, oh, I learned tons, I learned a lot of tools. We like to know that people learn about themselves, and then they got into that really transformative self-growth and self-awareness journey with us. This is our mojo. This is what we like to provide. And the whole Advanced Agile Team Coaching Expert Cohort Program is a level deeper on what we offer in our courses. And we have been having so much fun since the first edition. The second edition, of course, is even better, because of course we learned from our first edition. So I'm just waiting to see all the things we are going to cook up for the third edition that is going to happen.
Well, before
soon.
you do that, Rafa, I would like you to do, as we've got someone, at least one person from the first and the second cohort, which is your favorite cohort? Did you like the first one or the second one the most? I'm only joking.
Don't say anything, everyone. Don't fall to this guy's tricks. So this is our offer. We have the team facilitation course, which is 2 days in person or 4 half days online. The coaching course, which is 3 days in person or 5 half days online. And the cohort, which is over 8 months of practice, calls, and a lot of fun stuff in the middle.
8 months spending it with me and Rafa. 8 months. God, some people just don't know when their luck is in.
So thank you again for staying with us. Please reach out if you want to continue the conversation, or if you have any questions about your current endeavors. We would like to offer you a 10% discount ego webinar. It sounds a little bit egocentric when we say ego webinar, but that's what it is. And stay updated and looking out for our website, our YouTube channel, or our meetup page. If you want to either go meet us, I think in person in London is bound to happen soon, hopefully with things easing up. But definitely online, you can find us pretty much anywhere. All right. Nice to see you, everyone. Again, that we haven't been seen so much. Some of you we have been seeing recently. Also to meet some new people for the first time. Hope to see you again in any shape, medium, or form. All the best and have a great, great afternoon or morning or day, depending on your time zone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rafa and David. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.